Kamala Harris, the historic and trailblazing Vice President of the United States, finds herself at a political crossroads. As chatter intensifies about her potential candidacy for governor of California in 2026, the Democratic landscape, both in the state and nationally, appears to be shifting beneath her feet. Harris, once a rising star and the presumptive future of the Democratic Party, is reportedly considering returning to state politics, a move that has puzzled some and energized others. After making history as the first woman, first Black American, and first South Asian American vice president, Harris now faces a defining choice: stay on the national stage, where her role has at times been seen as constrained and opaque, or return to her home turf in California, where she previously served as District Attorney of San Francisco, Attorney General, and U.S. Senator. The California Governor's Office, which will be vacated by Gavin Newsom due to term limits, represents one of the most powerful executive roles in American state politics. It's a position that could offer Harris a renewed opportunity to lead boldly, enact sweeping reforms, and re-establish a distinct political identity. But it's not a decision without risk. Within the Democratic Party, especially in California, there is a growing wave of younger, more progressive leaders who are building momentum of their own, and some of them aren't waiting for Harris to make up her mind. Figures like California Attorney General Rob Bonta, Lieutenant Governor Eleni Kounalakis, and Los Angeles Mayor Karen Bass are just a few of the names being floated as serious contenders. These are not fringe players, they represent diverse constituencies, hold substantial influence, and have been carefully laying the groundwork for statewide campaigns. And they're not the only ones. Political insiders say State Senator Tony Atkins, San Diego Mayor Todd Gloria, and even labor-aligned figures with grassroots support are quietly building coalitions and courting donors. This is what makes Harris' potential run both compelling and uncertain. She enters the conversation with immense name recognition, a formidable national network of donors, and historic accomplishments. But she also carries baggage, including low approval ratings, a vice presidential tenure marked by mixed reviews, and lingering skepticism stemming from her stalled 2020 presidential campaign, which ended before a single vote was cast in the primaries. For some Democrats, Harris symbolizes an older generation of leadership, one that, while respectable and experienced, may not fully capture the urgency and ambition demanded by today's electorate. California is facing major challenges, from the housing crisis and homelessness to climate change, water policy, criminal justice reform, and rising tensions over tech regulation. Voters are looking for visionaries who can not only address these problems but do so with energy, boldness, and a fresh approach. That creates both an opportunity and a dilemma for Harris. Would a gubernatorial campaign re-energize her political brand, offering a platform where she could lead boldly without the constraints of Washington? Or would it be perceived as a retreat, a step down from the vice presidency and a tacit admission that her national trajectory has stalled? Adding to the complexity is the fact that not everyone in the Democratic Party wants to wait for her decision. There's a generational and ideological shift underway, particularly in California, and many younger Democrats are eager to promote new voices, not just recycle old ones. Some progressive activists believe the party has been too cautious, too establishment-focused, and too slow to embrace transformative policies. To them, Harris may feel like a symbol of the very system they want to reform. Meanwhile, others argue that her experience, across the legal system, the Senate, and the executive branch, is precisely what California needs. In a state as large and diverse as California, managing complex coalitions, understanding the federal-state relationship, and communicating effectively with national and international leaders are not just desirable traits, they are essential. Harris defenders point out that, as vice president, she's taken on difficult assignments, from leading the administration's migration diplomacy efforts in Central America to advocating for voting rights, reproductive freedoms, and police accountability. These aren't easy topics, and while outcomes have been mixed, they demonstrate her willingness to take on the nation's toughest issues. Still, public perception matters. In the fast-paced world of modern politics, where media narratives shift quickly and attention spans are short, Harris' profile has dimmed since the election. She's often been overshadowed by President Biden, whose presence in the spotlight remains strong despite his age, and by other Democrats who are increasingly capturing headlines. If she waits too long to declare her intentions, she may find that the window of opportunity has closed, not because she lacks credentials, but because momentum has moved elsewhere. In this sense, a gubernatorial run could be Harris' way of seizing back control of her political story. It would allow her to operate with executive power, focus on high-impact issues in her home state, and perhaps, most importantly, reconnect with voters in a more direct and personal way. Governorship could serve as a powerful springboard to re-enter national politics later on, or be an endgame in itself, reshaping California for years to come. But that path is not guaranteed. With every passing week, more Democrats are testing the waters, forming exploratory committees and courting endorsements. The race is already taking shape, and even a vice president cannot expect the field to wait. So the question looms: will Kamala Harris run for governor of California in 2026? And if she does, will the Democratic base rally behind her, or has the party, quietly but decisively, begun to move on? This is more than a personal decision for Harris. It's a moment that could redefine her legacy, and tell us something profound about where the Democratic Party is headed. California, long a laboratory for American politics, may once again set the tone for the future. And Kamala Harris, standing at the intersection of history and ambition, will have to decide whether she's ready to take the next step, or let someone else lead the way.